First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife she's the reason she's not invited to her daughter's wedding? I, male 43, been with my wife for 4 years. I have a 19-year-old stepdaughter. She suffered a lot during her parents' divorce and she hasn't gotten therapy. Till I came into the picture, that's when I noticed how depressed she was. She used to yell and argue all the time. She was harsh and hostile towards me. But that changed when I started fixing her problems one by one. And it turned out she needed healing and being heard and understood. We now have one of the few best relationships I have in my life. I appreciate the efforts she's made to be who she is today. She told me and her mom that she was going to get married to her boyfriend who she knew from high school. Her mom got mad at her for wanting to get married at this age and while in college. Even though my wife got married for the first time at a young age and had rough times trying to make a living and raising a kid. She lashed out at her daughter telling her to drop it, but my stepdaughter called her selfish and controlling, and that she shouldn't try to enforce her opinions on her and decide when she should get married. Her mom gave her an ultimatum and said she'd disown her if she went through with her decision. My stepdaughter stopped talking to her ever since, and my wife said that from now on, she doesn't have a daughter. I thought that was too much for my stepdaughter. I stayed in contact with her, and after a few weeks, my stepdaughter sent me a wedding invitation. I got to say, I felt a little hesitant thinking about my wife's reaction, but my stepdaughter told me she felt hurt and alone as her wedding approaches when she is supposed to be happy and excited. She even cried when she spoke with me on the phone last week. My wife found out and lashed out at me because the invitation had my name only and berated me for wanting to go support my stepdaughter and was upset that her daughter ignored her and didn't even call her to invite her to the wedding. I flat out told my wife she should have handled the situation better instead of driving her daughter away like that. But my wife got upset and accused me of supporting my stepdaughter's callousness and selfishness and told me not to go as long as she isn't going. I called her unreasonable, and clearly she's mad at me for not calling my stepdaughter and berating her for not inviting her mother after she disowned her. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Why are you with her? She sounds awful. If she treats her daughter this way, I can only imagine how she is to everyone every day. Yeah, sounds like your wife might be the reason why your stepdaughter was so depressed. That's kind of horrible that she'd ask you to essentially disown her too. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I'm having a hard time understanding why you're with your wife. She sounds awful. She needs to understand that her daughter is an adult, and this is her decision to make, whether it's a mistake or not. Crushing her daughter like that was cruel. I really hope you go to the wedding and support her. Sounds like you're the only supportive parent figure she has in her life. I really get the feeling that Opie's wife is in pain. Opie didn't go into detail as to why the divorce hurt his stepdaughter so much. But if she wasn't hurt by her parents splitting up, then my next guess would be that ex-husband was a bad person, or else the divorce was messy and caused a lot of fallout. We always think of children as being hurt the worst by this because they often don't have the emotional coping tools, but I wouldn't be surprised if Opie's wife was also traumatized and is just better at hiding it. Opie might consider asking his wife to do couples therapy after this. I kind of think that her rejection of her daughter is really her trying to reject her past self, or what she sees as a reflection of it. Not the a-hole. It's not that your wife doesn't know that her attitude is what led her to not being invited. You just stated plain facts, and it's quite remarkable for your mental stability that you're managing to get along with someone this abusive and manipulative. You're right. Now the issue is that she doesn't want me to go to the wedding. I gave my stepdaughter my word, and not attending would ruin my relationship with my stepdaughter. I think my wife is putting too much pressure on me and expecting to ruin my relationship with my stepdaughter just like she did, and sees nothing wrong with that. Well, you're not her puppet. She can't use a grown man to further manipulate her daughter into guilt trips and conditional affection. This can be a good occasion to fully discover the colors of your wife. It can turn out to be quite an overwhelming reality check. But better be prepared and get to know what she becomes when she doesn't get it her way. Plus, the relationship with your wife could go south at some point, but the bond with your stepdaughter likely never will. Now for the next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for inviting my dad's girlfriend over my real mom to spend a day with me? Original story. My, 17 female, parents got divorced 6 years ago. My mom quickly remarried, and my dad has been seeing his new girlfriend for nearly 2 years now. I now live at mom's house for 2 weeks, then switch over to dad's house for the next 2 weeks. My relationship with my mom has always been difficult. I always felt like my mom wished for a more girly daughter, so we could do classical mother-daughter activities together. But I'm simply not that person my mom wants me to be. I've always been more tomboyish and been into sports, especially tennis, since was a little girl, something my mom never truly understood or made an effort to be interested in. As a result, my mom and I never had a close mother-daughter relationship I feel like my mom wished for us to have. Now, my relationship with my dad has been the polar opposite. My dad and I always got along great, and I have always been a daddy's girl. But when my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend, Julia, I instantly disliked her. My younger me thought she was stealing my dad from me, her being relatively young, 27 when they began dating, and how I unfairly stereotyped her at first, vapid pretty girl, certainly didn't make me like her either. But my younger me misjudged her, and she's honestly pretty great. She always supported me, showed an interest in my passions, showed up to my tennis matches, something my mom didn't bother to do, and has been a great person all around. I'm now ashamed to admit this, but I didn't recognize this until 3 months ago and have been acting pretty horrible towards her before that. The problem. Second last weekend, I had a tennis tournament where I got second place. For the second place, I won a spa day for me and a guest. I decided to invite Julia, my dad's girlfriend, to thank her for supporting me and for dealing with my horrible behavior. You don't believe how happy she was when I invited her. But when I returned to my mom's place on Sunday evening, my mom kind of assumed I would invite her as my guest for the spa day. She seemed to really look forward to it. When I awkwardly told her that I already invited Julia, she was disappointed and sad. Since then, she has acted downcast and moody, and we haven't really talked. I tried to explain the situation to her, but she won't listen. Now I feel horrible. I feel like really hurt my mom, and I feel like I chose Julia over her. Am I the a-hole for inviting my dad's girlfriend over my mom to spend the day with me? Now for the top comments before the update. No a-holes here. It was certainly your choice to invite whoever you wanted. It is unfortunate this major olive branch to Julia hurt your mother. I understand why your mom would be sad, but hopefully you'll both be able to move past it. It could be a good opportunity for a deeper conversation about how you appreciate her and wish you shared more common interests, or that she'd take more of an interest in your activities and passions. Congrats on placing an attorney. Her mother, though, is an a-hole. She was never supportive of OP's tournaments, wouldn't even show up, and now is sulky because even if she wasn't there, she wants to go to the spa? No. No a-holes here, but I can definitely see how this would have hurt your mother. You say she likes girly things, and here's a girly thing, but you didn't want to share it with her. Sit down with your mom, tell her you noticed she's hurt, and you did not intend that. You feel awful, and explain that you invited Julia as an apology of sorts to make up for being so awful to her for so long. Then let your mom know that you would really love to have a special mother-daughter spa day just with her. I can definitely see how this would have hurt your mother. You say she likes girly things, and here's a girly thing, but you didn't want to share it with her. I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. To my mom, it probably feels like Julia and I robbed her of exactly the type of mother-daughter experience she always wanted. Then let your mom know that you would really love to have a special mother-daughter spa day just with her. I will do that. Can you give us an update after the talk? Curious and hopeful. I will post an update once I talk to my mom. And now for the update. Sorry for the late update, it has been a busy 2 weeks. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to read and reply to my post. I have read every response and I appreciate all the input. I have been putting off talking to my mom until Sunday a week ago when I finally found a good opportunity to talk to her. I told my mom that I love her, that I didn't intend to hurt her by inviting Julia, and that I feel terrible for hurting her. I also explained to her why I invited Julia. This time, she seemed to listen, and reassured her that me inviting Julia doesn't mean we can't have our own spa day or that I chose Julia over her, because she is still my mom and I always love her. Then I showed her the websites of some spa places I had looked up beforehand and offered to pay for part of the costs. I know some people advised me against it, but I think it's a small but important gesture to show my mom how much she means to me. My mom seemed really excited to go to one of them with me and said I wouldn't have to pay a cent. Then came the hard part for me. I told my mom that I feel like she never supported me in my interests, and it hurts me that she can't even be bothered to show up to my tennis matches. I also expressed my feelings that I always felt like she wished for a more girly daughter, and how this hurt me. At first, my mom got pretty defensive. She tried to deny it, but I was adamant, and in the end, when she saw how important this was for me, she apologized and promised to improve. Later at dinner, my mom asked me if I would like to go to a nearby climbing park with her and my stepdad in the future. I instantly agreed and was so happy because going to a climbing park isn't something my mom would normally suggest. I feel like it means she genuinely listened to me and tries to truly improve our relationship. It has been a week now since I talked to my mom, and I'm in good spirits as I hope our relationship will improve. I'm also hopeful we find our own mother-daughter thing in the future. Thanks again, Reddit, for your input. Now for the closing comments. I feel like it means she genuinely listened to me and tries to truly improve our relationship. It really sounds like it. It seems your mom is showing you she meant her apology. She made a promise to try and now is acting on that promise. Good on you for approaching her and even having a suggestion ready and standing firm. It's natural she got defensive at first, but her dropping it not only shows she acknowledged this was important to you, but showed a part of her humility. She realized she had done something wrong, and then her words and later actions that followed reflect on how she does want to work on your relationship. Her relationship with her daughter is more important than her being right or sticking to any image, which is such a nice break to read compared to what's normally around Reddit with parental relationships. Healthy communication for the win, people. The only way to end it is to go through it. Your comment is spot on. Opie had to sit through her mom being defensive and hold her ground to get her point across. Healthy communication isn't easy, but it's worth it. Exactly. Many things are tough but worth it. I give props to Opie for sticking with her point, and her mom for realizing that active change is more important than defending her past actions. It sucks and it's hard to realize you're not perfect, and how you've been doing things for years has been negatively affecting someone you love. The fact that by dinner, Opie's mom had already taken action to improve things going forward, that's what a good person/mom should do. She didn't dwell on the discussion or go into a woe is me stance, but immediately took action in a manner which would be meaningful to Opie and a positive step in their relationship consequently. Maybe I've been on Reddit too much today and read too many negative stories, but this really did give me, yay, faith in humanity feels. What a lovely update. I think you're taking the right steps to improve your relationship with both your mom and Julia. The instant acceptance of the climbing park invitation was probably encouraging as well. My day is a little brighter for this. Yeah, this was heartwarming as heck, especially, I know some people advised me against it, but I think it's a small but important gesture to show my mom how much she means to me. Go with your gut. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize to my parents for running away from home several years ago, after only letting them know I was okay recently? When I, 23 male, was 16, I ran away from home and from my parents and sister. There was a lot going on at home, and it wasn't a healthy environment. My sister had mental health issues since she was young, and her behavior was worsening, with police involvement increasing. She's 3 years younger than me, so I was expected to deal with it in a more adult-like way. I wasn't supposed to have a hard time with it. I wasn't supposed to get upset or fear for my safety around her. I was a boy, older and taller than her. She was a girl, younger and shorter than me. It was meant to be okay. My parents never wanted to hear that I wasn't okay. Neither did my grandparents, aunts, uncles, or other family members. My breaking point was my sister stabbing me in the hand with a knife after she tried to show me what she wanted to do to herself. She did stuff to herself a lot, It wasn't the first time I'd been hurt, or even the first time I saw her do things like that to herself. She tried to show me a lot of that stuff over the years, but my parents were mad that I didn't leap for the knife the second I saw her with it, and then they were so busy fussing over her, calling her care team and trying to talk her down, and I was standing there bleeding, and they didn't even care. So I left in the middle of the night. I didn't leave a note or take anything with me except 2 changes of clothes that I'd bought myself. I was homeless for almost 2 years. I didn't finish high school. I didn't reach out to anyone in my family. I never intended to reach back out again. I was mad at them, and I was hurt, but I never planned to reach out because nobody had cared. I did all the stuff you're meant to do. I spoke up, I confided in people, I got in touch with other family and teachers, and nobody wanted to help me. I made a pretty good life for myself now. I still have a lot to figure out, but I'm happier than I was back at home. It being years later helps a ton too. A couple of months ago, I found out through social media that my parents had started to ask where I was and if anyone had seen me or knew where I was. It started not too long before I found it. I looked, and there were no signs they'd done anything before to look. That told me a lot, but they were getting more attention for it, and it made me reach out to tell them I was okay. I told them to leave me alone, but of course they didn't, and I wanted to block them, but they wanted to go public again. We talked a little since. They wanted apology, but I refused. I told them I'm not sorry and I don't regret running away. They freaked out and told me I should realize how reckless and dangerous it was. I told them it was no more dangerous than living with them and my sister. They told me not to be so dramatic. They said my sister was only one girl and would never hurt me the way random creeps on the streets could. They gave my contact info to some of our other family, and some of them have tried to call and scold me for not apologizing. I'm on the verge of telling my parents that, if they try to shame me for blocking them, I can share exactly how little they cared about me. They said I still need to apologize for what I did, and they can't believe that at 23 I don't see it. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Would block them completely if I were you. I think you deserve an apology way more, and if they can't see it, then you're better off without them. I'm considering it for the peace not having contact brought me, but I also don't want them acting like I'm still missing. Although maybe if I make it clear I will speak up if they do, they might, just might let it go. You are an adult now. They know you are alive. All their flying monkey relatives know you are alive. Let them live with the public shame of having everyone know that their son wants nothing to do with them. You don't owe them anything, more than the lack of care and non-apology they have given you. Block them and find peace. They haven't changed. They are still the same crappy people they were when you left, who have now turned into blackmailers too. They probably want to coerce you into being a carer for their daughter. Not the a-hole. Tell your parents and the rest of the family that they're the ones who should apologize, then block them. You thrived without them for 6 years, and it sounds like communicating with them now will only have a negative impact on your mental health. I can already feel the mental strain of speaking to them as much as I have. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to invite my estranged sister to my wedding despite my parents' threats? I, 28 female, have a younger sister Emma, 25 female, who I have been distant from for the last 2 years. During our childhood, Emma was very adept at manipulation. She repeatedly deceived our parents to get me into trouble, and her dishonesty reached its worst when she claimed I was stealing money from them when I didn't, resulting in me being grounded for the whole summer. As we became adults, she didn't improve. During family gatherings, she would instigate arguments, spread gossip, and overall create a hostile and unwelcoming atmosphere for everyone. The final straw was when she told our relatives that I was marrying solely for my fiancé's wealth, which is entirely false and deeply rude, distasteful, and hurtful. Following that event, I severed ties with her. It was a tough choice, but I believed it was necessary for my mental well-being because that night hurt a lot. Recently, Emma contacted me to apologize, saying that she's changed and wants to restore our relationship to be even stronger than it was before. A part of me wants to trust her, but her past dishonesty makes me cautious, and honestly, I don't have the guts to believe her as much as I want to.
Also, my parents are urging me to invite Emma to the wedding. They hold strong conservative views and believe that family should always take precedence, regardless of circumstances. They think the wedding might provide an opportunity for reconciliation between her and me. Nonetheless, I'm afraid that she might create chaos and completely ruin the wedding. My fiancé supports me in any decision I make and also shares my concerns about possible conflict. The situation got worse when my parents said they would not come to the wedding if Emma is not invited. This seems like emotional manipulation, and it's breaking me down. I don't know what to do. I care for my parents and have always envisioned their presence on my special day, but I also refuse to be compelled to invite someone who has caused me significant pain. To make it even more complicated, our wedding budget is limited and our guest list is already at capacity. Inviting Emma would mean excluding someone else, such as a good friend, which feels unfair. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my estranged sister to my wedding, even if it could result in my parents not attending? Should I offer her a second chance or prioritize my peace on my wedding day? Edit. Emma's apologies seemed sincere, but I can't tell if it's genuine given her track record. Also, my fiancé and I are paying for the wedding ourselves, so I feel like it's our call who gets invited. Definitely not the a-hole. Your sister is crazy if she thinks she deserves an invite after the years of torture she put you through. And that definitely did seem like emotional manipulation from your parents. If it were me, and they were making claims like that because I didn't invite my sister who I cut ties with years ago, I would officially take back their invite. It sounds to me like they don't deserve you more your time and love. Thank you so much. I totally agree that my sister doesn't deserve an invite after everything she's put me through over the years. Hearing you call it torture feels like that's what it was. And it's nice to know I'm not overreacting by cutting her out of my wedding. Once again, you have let her manipulate you into being against me. I think it would be best if none of you come to my wedding. Maybe in a few years we can try to connect again, but my wedding is not the place to test it, and it's one of the last times you could have chosen me, instead of once again asking me to be the bigger person. Not the a-hole. That is such a thoughtful response. I think I'll probably say something like this to them over the phone or over coffee. Next story. Am I the a-hole for evicting my elderly parents and mentally challenged older sister from my home? I, 38 female, and my husband Fred, 36 male, recently bought a new home in December, and we were thrilled about the space it provides for our growing family. We have a 13-year-old daughter from a previous relationship and are expecting a baby in September. The new home also allowed us to accommodate my elderly father, mother, and my mentally challenged older sister, who have lived with me for years. For some context, I've been financially supporting my family since I was 16, and out of my two sisters, I'm the cash cow. My parents have always struggled with money, and I've often had to help with their debts. When I had my daughter, I was living with my family, and they frequently tried to undermine my parenting decisions. After buying my first home in 2015, I quickly realized that my mom was treating it as if it were hers, getting upset if I had guests over, replacing my decor with her own, and hoarding items that cluttered the space. They also caused damage to my home and refused to contribute to repairs, yet somehow found money to support my younger sister's wedding in 2020. My younger sister is my mom's favorite. Over the years, the environment has become increasingly toxic. My family, especially my mom, has been verbally abusive, often shouting and name-calling, which has escalated to physical altercations. One particularly distressing incident occurred on my birthday in 2018 when my mom physically assaulted me, leading to the police being called. I didn't press charges, but the situation has only worsened since then. Now, as I'm 5 months pregnant, I'm deeply concerned about exposing my unborn child to this volatile environment. It's bad enough my daughter has already been exposed to this madness. I've made multiple requests for my parents and sister to find alternative living arrangements, but they have consistently refused to leave. They haven't contributed to any household expenses since, and I feel like I've reached my breaking point. After consulting with an attorney, we've decided to proceed with eviction. I'm feeling guilty about this decision, especially considering their financial situation, but I can't continue living in this toxic environment. Am I the a-hole for evicting them? I can provide more details if needed. You have been more than generous. Evict them. Protect your own family. OP is not the parent in this relationship and should not have to take on that role because the real ones can't be bothered. She certainly doesn't have to allow people to live in her home and abuse her. I hope OP makes sure her 13-year-old doesn't feel it wasn't worth evicting them for her, but it is worth it for the baby. Not the a-hole. After years of being a provider for them, you deserve to enjoy life with your family. They sound like selfish, horrible people, and they pretty much dug their own grave. Maybe there is a way to support your sister without her living in your home? It depends on her behavior and also the extent of her disability, of course. I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that, and you deserve nothing but happiness with your loved ones. Stay strong, OP. My older sister is 56 years old. She was never officially diagnosed because in the 70s, learning disabilities were heavily stigmatized, and my parents didn't want to face that reality. She was put in special needs classes when teachers were allowed to beat on kids for acting out. My mom got plastered drunk when she was pregnant with my sister. She has the mind of a 12-year-old and has violent outbursts when upset. My parents never got her the help she needed, which was a disservice to my sister. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry. It sounds like you should have filed a restraining order against your mom in 2018. You deserve a home that's safe for you, your husband, and your kids. How has your oldest daughter handled seeing you treated so badly? She hates it. Every time I've apologized for having her exposed to this, she replies with, "I'm used to it." I hate that chaos is normalized for her. Last story. Am I the a-hole telling my brother-in-law to stop treating my husband like a child? So, I 48 female, my husband 49 male, and my daughter 16, attended my mother-in-law's birthday party. It was a large family gathering that included my father-in-law, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, uncles, aunts, nephews, and nieces. Now, there's this brother-in-law of 54 male, whom I shall name Ken for this purpose, and he happens to be my husband's oldest brother. The thing about Ken is that he has this constant habit of lecturing my husband. For example, he questioned why my husband had bought a Korean car, going on about how they're no good, and that he should have bought a Japanese or German one instead. And other things like, why on earth did you buy this jacket and jumper? They don't suit you at all. Have you bought gifts for mother? They better not be some cheap stuff that you didn't put any thought into. At first, I chalked it up to an older brother looking out for his younger brother, but then the tone and words he used seemed overbearing. Not even my husband's mother and father nagged him like this, at least not in front of others. And as I've learned, Ken only targets my husband and doesn't boss his other siblings around like that. My husband doesn't react too strongly when his oldest brother goes at him. He just nods along and says, "Okay then." I mean, I have tried telling my husband that he should just tell his big bro to lay off him already. Anyway, here comes the issue. We were having dinner at the table, talking about random topics that came to mind. One of my sisters-in-law was asking if we had made any holiday plans. My husband mentioned that we are going on a trip to the Maldives soon. And of course, Ken butted in. He was like, "Oh, really? So who organized this trip? Don't tell me that your wife did everything for you." I jumped in and pointed out that my husband had sorted out our trip. Then he questioned my husband, "Are your passports up to date? Have you checked if you need visas, etc.?" And after my husband answered everything, he said, "Wow, good boy, you're stepping up." Honestly, I was pretty peeved about this and thought this could not go on forever. As soon as Ken left to go to the bathroom, I made an excuse to leave the dining room and waited outside for him. When he came back out, I spoke with him. I told him as nicely as I could, "You need to stop treating my husband like he's a kid and show him some respect." Let's just say Ken didn't like the way I confronted him. At first, he acted all confused and in denial, saying he wasn't disrespecting my husband. I kept insisting that he was. Once he reacted aggressively, "Who the heck do you think you are? What's it got to do with you?" That's when I finally lost my cool. The commotion was obviously heard, and we had to be split up. It made the rest of the birthday party awkward after that. My other brother-in-law and the sisters-in-law were saying to me that it shouldn't be my place to speak on my husband's behalf. And if he feels discomfort over what Ken says to him, he should be the one speaking up. With all things considered, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Info. What did your husband say when you told him he should stand up to his brother? You've talked a lot about how much it bothers you, but not a word about how your husband feels about it. My husband would be like, "It's okay, hun. That's just how my big brother is." And then he just laughs it off. But then I can tell that it's not okay at all. Whenever we finished seeing his big bro and on the way back home, he gets withdrawn, quiet, and unresponsive for a while. Even my daughter noticed how down he looks. Like, "Mama, why does Daddy look sad?" Not the a-hole at all. Ken sounds super overbearing, and honestly, it's weird that he only targets your husband like that. I get that some people think it's a sibling thing, but there's a line between teasing and just being straight up disrespectful, especially in front of everyone. If your husband isn't comfortable standing up for himself, it makes sense that you'd want to step in. No one wants to watch their partner get talked down to like a child. Yeah, maybe it would have been better if your husband said something himself, but sometimes people just get used to that dynamic and don't realize how bad it looks from the outside. You are just trying to have his back. If Ken can dish it out, he should be able to handle being called out. I broke up with my boyfriend after he gave me the silent treatment for 4 days because I said no to his friend moving into my apartment. I'm 24 female sharing this because it's been weighing on me, and honestly, I just need to get it off my chest. A little background. I live in a small one-bedroom apartment that I worked hard for. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. About 5 months into dating my boyfriend, 29 male, he hit a rough patch. He lost his job and was struggling, and because I cared about him and wanted to be supportive, I offered to let him stay with me for a little while. Little while being the key part. He promised it would just be until he got back on his feet, found a new job, and could get his own place. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. And I really thought I was doing the right thing by standing by someone I loved. Fast forward to now. We've been together 9 months, and he's still here. He never moved out like he said he would, and honestly, he hasn't really tried to help out much either. He doesn't chip in for rent, utilities, or any of the main bills. Every once in a while, he'll grab some groceries, but I buy groceries too, so in the end, I'm the one paying for almost everything. What started as me trying to be helpful turned into me feeling like I was carrying both of us while he just coasted. Now on to what happened recently. A few weeks ago, he asked me if one of his friends, who's also having a hard time, could move in with us just for a bit. As soon as he said it, my stomach sank. Our apartment is already super small. It's barely enough space for the two of us, let alone adding another person. And beyond that, I didn't feel comfortable having someone I barely know living with me. This is supposed to be my safe space. So I told him no. I was polite but firm. I explained why I wasn't okay with it. I thought he'd get it, or at least that we'd be able to talk about it if he had feelings about it. Instead, the very next day after I said no, he completely shut down. He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't even look at me. I figured maybe he just needed a little time to cool off. Maybe he was hurt and needed space. But then a day passed, then another, and another. 4 whole days of being completely ignored in my own home. 4 days of feeling like I didn't even exist. I tried to talk to him, tried to open the door to communication, but every time, I got nothing. No words, no eye contact, just coldness. It was humiliating. It broke my heart. I felt disrespected, abandoned, and invisible. By the end of those 4 days, I knew what I had been trying not to admit. I deserved better. I deserved a partner who talks to me, who respects my boundaries, who doesn't punish me for standing up for myself. So I ended things. Now some mutual friends are trying to make me feel bad about it, saying I should have been more understanding, that he was just hurt, and guys aren't always great at expressing their feelings, etc. But to me, this was never just about him being upset. It was about the way he handled it. The silent treatment, the complete lack of respect, the emotional immaturity. And that's not something I can accept in a relationship. Now for the top comments. Oh no, F that. Your mutual friends are wrong. You financially supported a hobo and he threw a temper tantrum because you wouldn't also financially support his friend? Good riddance. He treated me so poorly for 4 days straight while still expecting me to coddle him, but I couldn't take it anymore, so I told him to pack his stuff up and leave. And when the mutuals whine at you again about how he's hurting, because if you haven't blocked them, they will, tell them they are more than welcome to have that hobosexual reside with them, because you are overpaying his bills while he disrespects you in your house. I'm cackling at your comments. I've never used a hobosexual on someone before, but I guess it's going to be used on the daily from now on. Yep, good riddance. He literally contributed nothing and had the audacity to ask for his friend to move in. You know his friend would have been the same way, and you would be paying for both of them. Those friends are stupid. Let them host your boyfriend, and his friends see how long they put up with it. Thank you. I was literally shocked to see how audacious he had become. Also quit collecting moochers. Your friends all think you should pay for things you shouldn't. Be more selective. Moochers always find a way to make you feel guilty for saying no. Next story. My boyfriend ran away as a dog brutally bit me, and now I see him differently. So I, 24 female, have been with my boyfriend, 25 male, for 3 years and just moved in together not that long ago, but recently something happened to me that I'm recovering from, in which my boyfriend did nothing to try to help me. 2 weeks ago, we went over to his sister and brother-in-law's home for a visit, and as we were leaving, their next-door neighbor's large pit bull was outside after escaping from the fence. It wasn't closed all the way, and bit my arm badly. I won't get into too much detail because this post is already gonna be pretty lengthy, but I'm currently in recovery and taking time off from work, as I ended up with injuries from it and can't use my right arm. My boyfriend's reaction through all of it is what had me pissed. The attack happened out of nowhere. I barely had time to process it. My back was facing away from the house, so I didn't see the dog coming out of the fence. All I know is I heard and saw him barking at us when we left his sister's house, but he was secured, so I didn't think much of it. My boyfriend, however, was facing him, and I looked and saw the dog running out and biting me. Immediately, my boyfriend went inside his sister's house and got his brother-in-law and sister, who ended up hitting the dog with a stick that was already outside. It still took effort to get him off, but before that, I was alone for about 5 minutes with this dog just not letting go. I couldn't get him off me. Now, I'll get to why I'm upset with my boyfriend. I knew he was outside with me when it first happened. He was the first person I looked for and yelled for when the dog wouldn't let go, and I was in the worst pain I've ever experienced. I've never had a broken bone, needed surgery, or anything like that. So yes, that is the worst pain I've felt. Afterward, when I got home from the hospital, I asked him why his brother-in-law had to do what he could have done himself, and he admitted to me that he freaked out and didn't want the dog to bite him next. He said that he was scared of blood and didn't know what to do. Honestly, this kind of made me cringe to hear and made me mad. Because it's like, you're a grown man running away and could have helped me. I'm not by any means saying it's his fault the dog attacked me, but I think if he would have acted quicker to get him off, it would have helped me out. After he told me all of this, I kind of started looking at him differently. I can't help it. 2 days after that, I went to sleep at my parents' house and haven't gone back because I'm not sure how I feel about him anymore. I just need time to think. I told him this, and he thinks I'm being unreasonable. It's been a great and healthy relationship, and I've been genuinely happy. I don't want to throw away a 3-year relationship over this. Like I mentioned, we just moved in together, and he's been hinting at proposing sometime this year. I just don't want to be with someone whose first instinct in an emergency is to run away and not do anything. It even has me thinking about the future, thinking about when it's time for us to have a kid, if he's just going to panic and not comfort me as I'm in pain giving birth. I don't know. It just made me lose feelings for him, which I know sounds silly, but I literally can't help it. I found out afterward that his sister already yelled at him too, asking why he left me alone. My parents are, of course, siding with me, but I don't know if it's just because I'm their daughter lol. So I need unbiased opinions. Do I have the right to be upset? There is a similar story to yours floating around Reddit. A woman was with her husband and their niece and nephew in their fenced backyard. I guess the gate was open, and a dog ran in to attack. The wife immediately grabbed the small children to get them to safety. Meanwhile, the husband locked the wife and 2 small children in the backyard with the dog while he ran away. They were his sister's children, and I'm pretty sure his sister was appalled at his behavior, and the wife ended up divorcing him. I get it's a knee-jerk reaction, fight or flight, but you've seen how he will react, and it's not great. It's the locking the gate part that always gets me. There's fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Bro skipped all that and went straight to sacrifice. You don't need to outrun the bear, just your wife and 2 small children. Next story. My girlfriend is 5 months pregnant. Found out it probably isn't mine. We've been together for 3 years. She recently moved into my apartment. About a week after she moved in, she told me she was pregnant. I was shocked because we were always careful. She doesn't like the pill because it causes her to have terrible mood swings. But we always use protection, and we've never had any scares regarding it breaking. The shock quickly gave way to excitement. I've always known I wanted kids eventually, and even though this isn't the most perfect time because we are both still young, 24, I was really happy, and she seemed to be too. I definitely went overboard with preparation. My wallet definitely isn't happy with me. I turned my gaming room into a nursery. I had my dream set up. I sold a lot of it and moved the minimum I actually needed into our bedroom in the corner. I bought a cot, a car seat, clothes, painted the walls in the nursery, and I've been saving and working more hours to prepare. When I said I went overboard, I mean it. I definitely got overexcited. But about a week ago, my girlfriend's best friend messaged me, saying we needed to talk urgently. She called me and told me that my girlfriend had confessed to cheating on me and not using protection, and the timing lined up perfectly with her pregnancy. I obviously didn't believe her at first, but she was adamant that my girlfriend told her exactly what she just told me. She said there was no way she was keeping this from me, even if she was my girlfriend's best friend. So I asked my girlfriend, and I don't want to explain the whole conversation because it's really long and personal. But she denied it, then slipped up when I asked a question, and then she admitted it and broke down crying. I know she's pregnant, and I know there's still a tiny chance it's mine, but I kicked her out. Probably horrible of me, but now she's at her parents'. We haven't spoken since, but she's been blowing up my phone. I need to speak with her eventually so she can get the rest of her stuff, but I really don't want to. She cheated on me and didn't say anything. Then she found out she was pregnant and must have known straight away it almost definitely wasn't mine. And she continued to hide it for 5 months. She let me spend so much money on all this stuff and get so excited, all the while knowing it isn't mine. And the only way I found out is because her friend had the decency to tell me. This is the saddest I've ever felt. I lost my girlfriend and what I thought was my baby at the same time. I've been trying not to cry and just keep going, but I can't. I can't even explain how I feel right now. I haven't told anyone yet because it's so embarrassing. I did all of that stuff for a kid that isn't even mine. I know I'll have to tell my family and friends eventually. I just want to tell someone. At least if I say it here, I won't be judged by people in my life. Now for the comments. I'm so sorry about all of this. Doing forget to take a paternity test. So if it isn't yours, she can't pin the baby to you. I plan to. The chances it's mine, though, are minuscule, but still, better to be sure. Dude, you didn't do anything wrong. She has her parents to take her in, and you were lucky to find out sooner. My neighbor found out that his daughter wasn't his when she was in her 50s, and that ruined him. The girl belonged to the doctor, his wife's boss, and the girl's godfather. Today he lives drunk and sad. He didn't break up, but he no longer has a life. Don't give her any of the baby stuff if you plan to, until the DNA test. You might need it if it's yours. I should be able to get some money back. Probably not what I paid though. If you bought them from a retail store, sometimes management will have a heart and refund what you purchased due to sad circumstances. Nah, in the UK you need a receipt or a proof of purchase. It's unlikely I still have any. You really don't. It's at the discretion of the place. Just call the place and say you bought some baby stuff, but it turns out you won't be needing it anymore, and ask if you can get a refund. Unless you've opened it or it's damaged, they're not likely to say no. Plus, if you've paid on your card, you can look at your bank statements and figure it out. I thought most places are really strict about needing a receipt. I tried to return some shirts I bought at Primark because they were too small. Wouldn't accept the return unless I had a physical paper receipt. Might just be this shop. Last story. Brother's new wife banned him from playing video games with us, found out last night, and having a hard time being happy for him today. I, 22 female, am currently out of town for my older brother's 28th male wedding, which is happening today. He's marrying a woman he's been dating for about 10 months, and they only decided to get married last month. It all happened really fast. Since he lives across the country, the only way we really hang out is by playing video games together. It's something we've done for as long as I can remember. Me, him, and our younger brother, 19 male. It's not like we play constantly or all night, just a couple of hours here and there, nothing crazy. It's always been our way of staying connected. His now wife has made it really clear that she hates video games. From early on, she told him she didn't like him playing, and eventually told him she didn't want him playing with us at all. He tried to compromise, and for a little while she allowed some limited gaming. But last night, the night before his wedding, he told me that she's officially put her foot down. No more games. At all. She told him they're a waste of time, and he should be using that time to do more for himself. I didn't know what to say. He already knows how I feel, how we feel, our younger brother and I. But it's clear that this is her boundary, and because it's his fiancée, now wife, there's not really space for us to say anything without it seeming like we're being unsupportive. And I want to be supportive. I want to be happy for him today. But what really gets me is how much he's given up for her already. It's like he's constantly adjusting, compromising, bending to fit into her life, and she refuses to give him anything back. She won't even let him have this, a couple of hours here and there with his siblings, doing something we've always done. I'm sad that it feels like we're losing our brother to someone who doesn't seem to value the connection we have. And sad that it feels like there's no room for us anymore, unless we change or just quietly back away. I don't want to make this day about me. I really don't. I want to be happy for him. But it hurts more than I thought it would, especially since he only told us last night. I don't know. Controlling behavior isn't a boundary. A boundary is drawing a line around something that affects you personally. Dictating how someone spends some of their free time is controlling behavior. This doesn't end well. He won't know this mistake till it's too late. 10 months? People don't even start showing their true colors until the 6-month mark. So getting married at 10 months is crazy work. And the fact that she's trying to isolate him from his family is the biggest, reddest flag of them all. Update with info. Didn't expect so many comments. To cover it now, I haven't gotten to speak with him yet. I intend on calling him soon. They have gotten married as of this afternoon. People are saying I may be leaving out some info, and I will say I found this out last night and needed to get it out, so I may have left some context aside. 1. He is not hooked on video games. He is very responsible with time spent on a computer and only played with us 1 to 2 times a week, a couple of hours at a time. Usually Tuesday or Wednesday, and he made sure to call us once she was in bed, as she goes to bed far earlier. Outside of that, he played with his friends every so often, but this would also affect how much time we had. 2. I said he's changing a lot for her and she's not giving anything in return. I mean, he has changed jobs, changed his wardrobe, stopped learning a language he loves, etc. And the 2 things he asks she won't give, one being some gaming time with us. 3. I saw someone mention that our opinion shouldn't matter in this. If this was a decision they mutually made, I'll support it. It may hurt, but I will get over it if he feels that's what's best for his relationship. But being that it's something she's forcing that was originally allowed on limited terms makes no sense to me. Also, he limits the time, and we, our younger brother and I, make sure we never interfere with their plans. I'm struggling with how to bring this up to him without adding to the stress and frustration he's already feeling. I'm not trying to make things harder. I just hope we can find some kind of compromise that works for everyone. If it ends up being an it-is-what-it-is situation, then so be it. But if there's a way to meet in the middle, I'd really love that. After all, she's my sister-in-law now. I will try to update if this goes anywhere. Nonetheless, we will never stop supporting him. He is our brother, and we love him. The door is always open for him.